Tonight at 6 on TV2 News, an increase in drug overdoses in Portage County that the Sheriff's Department is calling unprecedented. TV2 has the latest on how the community is being impacted by the opioid epidemic.
The university just released their climate study on diversity, equity, and inclusion. What this information means for the community.
Food prices have stopped rising, why the sudden halt in inflation is taking place, and how long the inflation cooldown will last.
The Tennessee state representative has been re-sworn in. More on this and all of these stories as TV2 News starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
Good evening, Portage County, and happy Thursday. I'm Sydney Brown.
And I'm Josh Aponte. Thank you so much for joining us.
Tonight we begin with the latest updates on the Portage County opioid epidemic.
Our reporter Erin Sullivan is here with what you need to know about the increase in fentanyl usage. Hi, Erin.
Hi guys, the Portage County Sheriff's Department alerted community members of an increase in overdose deaths. I spoke with the Kent Police Department and the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Portage County about how this issue could impact Portage County residents. The Portage County Sheriff's Department released a statement on March 31st warning the community of an unprecedented amount of overdose deaths. Officials say the increase is largely driven by use of fentanyl, a highly addictive and inexpensive drug.
It's happening because people who think they are using less serious drugs, they don't realize that there is actually fentanyl mixed in with the less serious drug that they're using.
Officials say it is nearly impossible to tell if something has been contaminated by fentanyl because it's colorless and odorless.
We are seeing fentanyl being mixed with almost everything now. It's been mixed with heroin for a very long time, and we're familiar with that. But now we're seeing it mixed in with cocaine, even something as common as marijuana.
Narcan, a nasal spray, works to reduce the effects of an overdose, often reviving someone from overdosing.
I would encourage people to learn about Narcan, and if they are drug users, to reach out to agencies that will provide Narcan, because it absolutely could save their lives, or the lives of somebody that they're friends with or loved ones.
Locations like Town Hall 2 and the Kent Health Department offer educational resources to know what to do when someone is experiencing an overdose. Like this Project Dawn kit right here, which comes with Narcan and an educational pamphlet.
It's so important for people to be aware of what the signs of overdose are. And if somebody, is using drugs, to really, know that no drugs are safe. And to never use alone.
In recent years, fentanyl has been found in drugs such as marijuana, heroin, and has even been pressed into pills to look like pain medication.
It's something that's very, very dangerous, and we're not saying that just because we want to stop people from using illegal drugs. It's just it has become so prevalent and so widespread.
Now, officials say that Narcan will help, but is not powerful enough to treat a severe overdose. They advise calling 911 for all overdose situations. Reporting for TV2 News, I'm Erin Sullivan.
Thank you, Erin. A new ranking from CDC's data regarding drug overdoses ranks Ohio 47th overall in the country. Ohio is also ranked 48th when it comes to the overdosage rank alone. This means that there is a substantial amount of overdose-related deaths in the state. Ohio's amount of overdose deaths is expected to rise 59% over the next decade.
Out of Columbus, state representatives are reintroducing a medical insurance law. Madeline's law would require insurance to cover the cost of hearing aids for Ohioans aged 21 and younger. Since hearing screenings are universal in hospitals in the U.S., children with hearing loss can be found and identified early on. If passed, Madeline's law would add Ohio to the list of 25 other states that already require insurance provided for hearing and coverage for children.
The Ohio Board of Education has vetoed to delay naming a search firm that would be in charge of identifying superintendent candidates. The vote pushed the decision to be made in May's board meeting. The state board previously narrowed down the candidates to 3 search firms. Each firm gave presentations to the board in December, but the board also postponed choosing a firm at that time as well.
How's it going, Portage County? I'm Michael Neenan, and I can't wait to preview this wonderful weather we're having because, I mean, just look at this. You know, it's not often that I get to preview really nice weather because today in Kent, it's currently 78 degrees and it feels like 78. The dew point is at 35 degrees with the wind traveling southwest at 5 miles an hour. Humidity is at 21%. And the visibility is at a full 10 miles. And let's take a look at how it'll be tonight. It'll be around 51 degrees with very clear skies. The winds, once again, at a pretty light 7 miles per hour going south. And the set is expected to go down at 8:03 p.m. Now, let's see what it looks like over the course of tonight and tomorrow. At 8, it will be 72 degrees. There will be some clouds, but by midnight, the skies will clear up and get to around 60 degrees. It'll be a pretty brisk night, but then it cools down even more in the morning as it gets to 55 degrees, and it will be a little cloudy at 8 a.m. But that's all I've got for now. Just be sure to tune in later as we go over the statewide temperatures and see what the 7-day forecast looks like.
Thank you, Michael. Kent State officials react to the recent messages painted on the rock that have sparked outrage among students. Sydney Brown has more on what the university has to say. Hi, Sydney.
Hey, Josh, that's right. Kent State University sent out their latest climate diversity, equity, and inclusion statement on Tuesday to all students and staff. This report comes after backlash that the university faced when the campus rock was painted with a racist message in 2021. Yesterday, the Division of DEI hosted a presentation of their final report from the 2021 school year.
A lot of people had negative reactions to it, that they thought it was just, they were disgusted when they heard about it. They were angered. There were some individuals, quite a bit, who felt like this incident in of itself actually contributed to why they considered leaving.
The climate study on race, called Our Voices Count, aims to bring more diversity to Kent State. The Division of DEI wrote in their campus-wide email that they were excited to announce the public release of this final report. President of the university, Todd Dyken, also joined the discussion, speaking on behalf of Kent State's commitment to DEI&B.
What will never change is that we're still going to have that mission of access. We're still going to have that rock-solid commitment to making Kent State the kind of comfortable place it is for people of all different backgrounds.
Kent State has continued to express its support of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging with initiatives throughout campus. The findings of this survey will help Kent State maintain a healthy, inclusive environment, according to the Division of DEI.
Thank you, Sydney. The Kent Interhall Council will host Kent State University students, faculty, and staff and their families for Sibs and Kids Weekend on April 21st through the 23rd. This year's theme is Cirque de Sib, featuring events and activities inspired by the circus and gymnastics. Participants can register online for free, and souvenirs are available for $8. Participants will check in at the Tri-Towers Rotunda at 4 p.m. on April 21st.
Kent State featured gluten-free and plant-based items at their Good Food, Better Earth vendor showcase today in the Student Center. These inclusive options for students could potentially be implemented into the daily dining hall selection. Sarah Corzin, Assistant Director and Registered Dietitian in University Culinary Services, explained the range of vendors and invite for all students to come and dine in for free today.
Nature wasn't kind to us. And that's just unfortunate. Being unprecedented, having a storm like this, 26 inches of water in the airport is unprecedented, so we have never had to deal with such an item.
Crews in Florida are working to clear roads, and residents are assessing the damage after a storm. How Floridians are being affected.
How the Pentagon is limiting its spread of classified documents amid a military information leak. The White House is warning about national security.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
Welcome back. The U.S. annual inflation is at its lowest level since May of 2021. CNN's reporter Patrick Cornell has today's Consumer Watch.
A step forward in the ongoing battle over rising prices. A new Bureau of Labor Statistics report out Wednesday shows U.S. annual inflation is down to the lowest level since May 2021, but economists are cautiously optimistic.
There's a lot of things that are hitting consumers that are still showing a very elevated level of inflation.
It shows consumer prices rose in March by 5% year over year. That's down from 6% in February, and it marks the 9th straight month of slowing inflation. The rate of price increases has been cooling since it hit a 4-decade high last summer. Economists say the real challenge for consumers is that the rate is still a long way away from the Federal Reserve's target, which could signal more action from the Fed may be ahead.
That's why the debate around the Fed is about, well, how long time is it now going to take before we will get inflation all the way down to that 2% target?
And the main issue is that core inflation, which strips out food and energy costs. Those numbers remain high. They're up 5.6% year over year. That means higher rents, housing, and other costs.
If you look at cost of transportation, that went up. If you also look at airline ticket prices, also went up. If you look at the cost of housing, still very elevated.
The latest report is adding to the debate around what the Fed will do at their next meeting, either pause interest rate hikes or increase them to further cool down the overheated economy. For Consumer Watch, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Delta Airlines have reported record-breaking advanced bookings for this summer. This comes despite tickets costing 17% more this year. Delta reported $163 million in earnings in the first 3 months of this year. That follows a loss of $784 million on that basis a year earlier, and it's up 14% from the same period in 2019. The Atlanta-based carrier is also planning on giving workers a 5% raise in the next coming months.
But Amazon will no longer have completely free shipping. The shipping service is now going to charge customers a $1 fee for some UPS returns. This change is made in an attempt to discourage the number of online returns and are also flagging products that are frequently returned. When scrolling through the website, customers will notice a badge next to the product listing that reads, quote, significantly higher return rates for the products in this category.
The Environmental Protection Agency proposed new car emission standards. This could require electric vehicles to account for up to 2/3 of new cars sold in the U.S. by 2032. Gloria Pazmino has the details.
The Biden administration is betting big on electric.
We're driving towards a clean energy future.
On Wednesday, the Environmental Protection Agency proposed new car emission standards that could require electric vehicles to account for up to 2/3 of new cars sold in the U.S. by 2032.
We're starting to see all of the auto industry move in this direction.
Transportation is the biggest source of greenhouse pollution in the U.S., with light-duty vehicles accounting for 58% of those emissions. EPA Administrator Michael Regan says the goal is not only to tackle the climate crisis, but to bolster the economy long term.
This is a really exciting proposal that codifies the president's vision for an electric future that wins the day in manufacturing and jobs as well.
The rules are intended to push the auto industry toward electrification and increase supply.
We see that consumers are really responsive to EVs when they get their hands on them.
Still, not everyone is ready to buy in. 41% of Americans polled by Gallup last month said they would not buy an electric vehicle. But the White House hopes tax incentives like a credit up to $7,500 for new EV purchases will help drive Americans to electrify.
We're going to save consumers money. This is a huge opportunity for everyone in this country.
I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
Medicaid programs could be extending to deferred action for childhood arrival recipients. This law grants medical insurance and temporary legal status to undocumented immigrants who came to the U.S. as children. This decision would expand access to affordable health insurance to 580,000 DACA recipients. The White House shared the insurance coverage could begin by the end of the month.
We believe that the law is on our side and we will prevail. so that I can reassure the American people that that is our commitment to women, millions of women across the country, and also providers who are at the front lines.
A federal appeals court has frozen parts of a Texas judge's order that would have suspended the FDA approval of a medication abortion drug. Under the appeal court's new order, the approval will stay in effect and the drug will remain on the market. However, the U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals is leaving in place parts of the ruling that halted changes the FDA made to the rules around the drug that expanded access to medication abortion pills.
Hurricane season is quickly approaching, and forecasters are predicting a slightly below average Atlantic hurricane season. Meteorologists from Colorado State University are predicting a total of 13 tropical storms, including 6 hurricanes.
Those tropical storms turn into hurricanes when winds reach 74 miles per hour, but only 2 of the 6 predicted hurricanes will reach a Category 3 or higher. There is still 7 weeks until hurricane season, and researchers are still tracking how El Nino will impact the exact forecast. That is some severe weather that's going on down there in Florida.
Yeah, and in Fort Lauderdale too.
Impacting the wildlife, this flooding in South Florida is from what might be a once-in-a-millennia rainstorm. That's how a National Weather Service meteorologist describes the rare storm in Fort Lauderdale that subsided Thursday morning.
Yeah, meteorologists said 14 to 20 inches fell in less than 24 hours, possibly approaching hurricane levels. Right now, Key West holds the state rainfall record for getting 23.28 inches in 1980. Which I'm so thankful for because it was all sunshine today.
That is true. Nice warm temperatures, not a lot of rain, but I bet Michael Neenan's got what's in store for the rest of this week. What's up, Michael?
Yes, we do have some nice weather this week. Welcome back. I say we take a look at the 7-day forecast and see what the weather is like around the state. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, Michael, is the weather going to be this nice for the next 7 days? Let's take a look. Tomorrow on Friday, it will be at a high of 83 degrees, except it will be a little cloudier, not as many clear skies. And then over the weekend, we will see some rain. It will be in the 70s, but we will see some thunder on Sunday especially. And it goes into Monday too, except Monday, we will see some cool down. And Tuesday, hey, in the morning, we might see some snow actually. So yeah, sorry to break it to you, but the nice weather is not going to stay. And later in the week, in Wednesday, it will be partly cloudy, and it'll get back up to those warmer temperatures. So, you know what? Enough of that. Let's see what it's like around the state. Because starting things off in Northeast Ohio, on the lake in Sandusky, it's 79 degrees. So it is actually warm enough to start going to Cedar Point from now on. If you'd like, Cleveland, it's a little bit lower at 71, and then Ashtabula is at 74. Now, as we go a little further south, in Kent at the moment, it's 80 degrees in Canton and Youngstown. It's around the same, and Worcester and Mansfield are a little lower at 79 and 78 degrees, respectively. And let's take a look at the statewide temperatures. Going from west to east, in Lima at the moment, it is 81 degrees, Dayton is 80, and Cincinnati is at 81. In Columbus, it's around the same at 81, and it's 82 degrees in Akron, around Northeast Ohio. Really just 80 all around, and, well, that's all I've got for today. Try to get outside and enjoy this nice weather. I've been Michael Neenan, and stay safe, Portage County.
Thanks, Michael. An Air National Guard member was arrested today for leaking classified documents. The Massachusetts resident is Jack Teixeira.
Today, the Justice Department arrested Jack Douglas Teixeira in connection with an investigation into alleged unauthorized removal, retention, and transmission of classified national defense information.
The 21-year-old is the leader of an online gaming group where the trove of documents was posted. Roughly 24 people belong to a private Discord chat room. In the wake of the leak, the Pentagon is now limiting who gets access to the daily intelligence briefs. Some officials who used to receive the Pentagon's highly classified daily briefing materials have stopped getting them. Sources familiar with the matter say investigators are building a criminal case against Teixeira.
Now going to Tennessee, Representative Justin Pearson is back to the State House for District 58 after getting ousted days ago.
That there will be a new building of this building with a foundation built on love, with pillars of justice rising up, with rafters of courage covering us, with doors that are open to everybody in the state of Tennessee.
Pearson was sworn in on the steps of the Capitol Thursday morning. His reinstatement is the result of a unanimous vote from Shelby County Commissions. This comes after GOP leaders say that they breached decorum in how they called for gun reform after the deadly Nashville school shooting. Jones is back in the chamber also after a unanimous reinstatement vote from the Metro Nashville Council on Monday.
Former President Trump is expected to answer questions today in deposition. Previously, Trump was invoked by the Fifth Amendment more than 400 times in August 2022 deposition, but is now willing to testify before the Attorney General. He remains resolute to his stance that he has nothing to hide. This is Trump's first time back in New York since he was arraigned on 34 felony accounts on April 4th.
One of the stadiums in the land is changing their name. What is the new name for the home of the Dog Pound?
And the Raptors and Bulls fought to keep their season alive last night. I'll have the highlight when TV2 News returns.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
Welcome back. The Cleveland Browns have ended their stadium naming rights deal with First Energy. The stadium will be known as the Cleveland Browns Stadium.
I'm really liking this name. It was originally named this from 1999 to 2012, and the news comes as the Browns consider its options to update or renovate the stadium altogether.
Renovations to the Cleveland Browns Stadium, that sounds nice.
I gotta love it, and I love the new name. Blake,
exactly.
What do you think of the new name?
I love the new name. You know, bringing back the classics. Hopefully we can start winning like we did back then too. And good evening, Portage County. I am Blake Goloja with your TV2 Sports Report. Let's head over to the Kent State Diamond. And no weekend plans, Kent State Baseball has you covered with a 3-game rivalry series versus the Akron Zips. The Golden Flashes are coming in winning 6 out of their last 7 games and sit only 1 game behind Ball State in the MAC standings. On the other side, Akron comes into the weekend at 13-19 overall. The Flashes sit atop the MAC in several major categories, including batting average, runs, hits, and doubles. Friday's series opener will start at 6 p.m., Saturday's game is set for 3 p.m., and the Sunday finale has a 1 o'clock start time. All games will be streamed for free on KentStateSports.com. And the Kent State women's lacrosse team had a record-setting performance yesterday with a 19-9 victory over Eastern Michigan. The Golden Flashes matched program records for wins in a season with 6 and longest winning streak, which sits at 3. Kenzie Scolar and Jackie Wolford combined for 13 goals in the Rowdy. Kent State looks to continue their winning streak this Saturday at home against Robert Morris. The game is set for 1 p.m. and you can catch it online on KentStateSports.com. Now let's head across the border for the 9 versus 10 Eastern Conference play-in game. The Toronto Raptors battled the Chicago Bulls, and let's head inside Scotiabank Arena for that highlight. As we're outside Jurassic Park getting ready, winner of this game will face the Heat in Miami. We're going to start off the second quarter winding down the shocker. Fred VanVleet knocks it down from half court. Look at that again. That was one of his 7 threes he hit. And we're going to stick right with VanVleet. Had himself a game, 26 points. Here's another one of those threes, a step-back rainbow 3 over Levine. Absolutely beautiful. Bulls wouldn't go away, though. Zach LaVine, fast break, stops, pops, hits. Great 3 there to cut the lead to just 5. Now look at this. Little hustle ball. Alex Caruso, coast to coast, puts it in. It's tied up, 6 minutes left in the fourth. Now, Levine drives in, puts it up over Barnes. What a layup to give Chicago that lead. 105-102, Toronto needing something. Siakam trying to deliver. He had 32 on the night, and there's two more and with that two-hand jam. Last chance. Toronto needs a prayer. Van Vliet, three, no good. Siakam gets it, misses the gimme. The Bulls win it, and they're moving on to Miami.
Play-in tournament is done, Blake. It's time for some NBA playoffs, eh?
It definitely is. And Cavs starting on Saturday. I'm super excited. What are you guys feeling about that?
I'm confident about the Cavs options. I don't know.
I'm confident too. I mean, spring playoff season is just my favorite time of year, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. You got playoff basketball, best time of the year.
Exactly.
It is the best. And that is all the time I have for sports. Make sure to follow at TV2 KSU Sports on Twitter for updates on all things Kent State athletics. I've been Blake Goloja. Have a great evening, Portage County.
The latest streaming platform that is maxing out. Which TV service is undergoing a rebrand next month? Welcome back. The 2023 100 most influential people in the world have been revealed. Among the list includes Pedro Pascal, Austin Butler, and Doja Cat.
The magazine honors 100 individuals each year for its list. The list also highlights notable authors, comedians, sports stars, and other influential figures.
But HBO Max is now just Max. The rebranding of the streaming platform comes after Warner Media merged with Discovery last year to form Warner Brothers Discovery. Max will offer content from properties including HBO, HGTV, Food Network, Cartoon Network, and TLC. It is scheduled to maintain HBO Max's current price point of $15.99 per month and launches on May 23rd. I don't really use HBO Max, but there are a lot of great shows on there right now.
There is. I've heard, The Last of Us with Pedro Pascal.
There you
one
go.
of the top 100 people.
Exactly, and of course, on The Mandalorian.
Oh, don't
He's
get me
just
started
killing
on
it.
Star Wars, Sydney. Oh, man.
We could talk about that all day if you'd like.
Yeah, all
But
day, 100%. The newest episode, by the way, rocked. It was awesome.
It was good?
It was awesome.
I just love seeing him on screen. I don't know what it is. I mean, even though you're not seeing his face there.
Exactly. That's true.
All right, well, that is all the time we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
For updates on all these stories and more, follow us on all social media at Kent Wired and visit our website at kentwired.com. I'm Josh Aponte.
And I've been Sydney Brown. Have a great night, Portage County.